You know who my next guest is. Leon Edwards has got a huge fight coming up against Khamzat Chimaev at UFC Fight Night on December 19th. Leon, how's it going, man? Looking good with that Michael Jordan shirt on.
I'm good. I'm feeling good. Training's going good, so I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to catch up with you. I got to give you props right off the bat for taking this fight. A lot of fighters would not want to take on Khamzat Chimaev. He's unranked. I know he's got a lot of hype and everything, but kudos to you. Do you feel like people are giving you enough credit for taking this fight?
Not really. Not really. But I'm doing this fight for me, not for no one else. You know what I mean? So I'm taking this fight because I think this is the biggest fight in the division, I think. Outside the world champion, as far as hype goes, they're invested in this kid, right? Dana loves him, the UFC loves him. So after I go out there and beat him, let's see what they say after this.
Let's back things up a little bit because this all sort of came together with the whole rankings thing, and I didn't know what had happened. Someone actually sent me something saying, "Hey, Leon's removed from the rankings." I go to the website, you're still on the rankings. I was like, someone's trolling me, right? No big deal. I look on the mobile app, you are off the rankings. So yeah. At a certain period of time, you were off. I wanted to know, when did you catch wind of this whole rankings thing? I know you came out with the tweet and you said, "I'm still here, guys. I'm not going anywhere." But when did you find out about the rankings stuff? That's what I wanted to know.
Same like you, really. I was in negotiations for fights, and my friend messaged me. He's like, see, I'm on Instagram. Like, out the rankings. You should have fought Wonder Boy, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? I checked my phone. I'm still in the rankings, right? So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And but yeah, I think they removed me for like, I think an hour or two and put me back. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you what happened there. And it was in the middle of negotiations, and that's what happened. I don't know.
So your friend, just let me clarify this. You said your friend said you should have fought Wonder Boy, or he was saying someone had said that?
The fans, like, on Instagram.
Gotcha. I was going to say, that's not a very good friend if they're telling you should have taken a fight or something. What type of friend is that, you know?
It was like random people on Instagram. Like,
I see,
Wonder
okay.
Boy, blah, blah, blah. But I don't feel fighting Wonder Boy would have guaranteed me a title shot next. He's like 3-2 in his last 5, and there's not much hype around him no more. I believe now the UFC is invested in this kid. They're hyping him to be the next big thing. So after I go out there and stop him, let's see what happens.
You know, I agree with you to a certain degree because, Wonder Boy is ranked, but like you said, all the hype right now is on Chimaev. It kind of reminds me a bit of Masvidal last year, right? Where Masvidal was the guy. Everyone wanted to fight him. If you were going to fight Masvidal, there was going to be a lot of hype. Do you see sort of that similarity between Chimaev in the sense that he's sort of the Masvidal of this year, right? Where it's like everyone's talking about him.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. That's the reason I even consider accepting it, right? If it's just a random unranked kid that there's no hype around him, I wouldn't even consider it. But for the basis there's hype around him, is where I'm using to get my title shot.
And have you had other fighters reach out to you and say, "Hey, look, like, we want you to beat this guy. This is unfair with the rankings and stuff"? Have you had other people come to your sort of support here with the matchup?
For sure, I got like a few DMs, and people said, "I want you to win," blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So I think this is more for the organization, right? Just for the what's right in the game, and I got that feeling from what message I've received from people. So I think this is for everyone.
It is kind of interesting too that his manager is the same manager as Usman and Burns, and I know he's said a lot on Twitter, obviously saying like Leon should fight this person or whatever. Like, do you pay attention to any of that? Does that bother you, just having someone sort of dictate sort of the narrative of who you should be fighting?
Not really.
No?
Not really. I know he's saying that realistically the fight that should have been made was me versus Burns, right? No more contenders. No more contender fight. I think it's still injured.
Yeah.
That was a fight to make. I've been number one contender now for years, and but Burns turned the fight down. He didn't want to do it, and now I thought, what's the next best option? The guy with the most hype in the division, and I think this is this kid. So now this is where we are now.
When you say Burns turned the fight down, was there actually like a fight offer, or was that just something you talked to your management, like, "Hey, let's make this happen," and it was just sort of something in the air you're thinking about?
You talked to the UFC about it. I think they were kind of interested in it, but I think Burns was like sticking to his guns. That I know Dana White came out, so I'm getting a title shot next. So why would you fight? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
And just sort of last thing, like, do you feel like, obviously momentum's a big thing, right? And, you haven't fought since July of last year against Dos Anjos. Not to your fault, by the way. I mean, the London thing, the lockdown, like you're supposed to have the title shot and all that. Do you feel like, with the win over Chimaev, you kind of get all that hype back because this is the guy everyone's talking about? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, get back onto the roller coaster, right? After got there, beat him, I'm going into 2021 back with where I left off, basically. You know what I mean? I've been in a better position for being this kid that they're building up, and so I think after this fight, 2021 should be a very good year.
We know Khamzat's good everywhere. He's got obviously great grappling. He's got great stand-up. We saw that in the Meerschaert fight. How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
I feel like I am better everywhere the fight goes. You know what I mean? He's the levels that he's fought is like, it's hard to like compare his skill set, right? For the level he's fought. I know that he fought that Gerald kid, and yeah, I think that's his biggest fight probably. I would say, technically, and I didn't know what Gerald was before that fight. You know what I mean? So I think that there's levels to this game, and I understand the way he feels right now, right? He's like the young kid, he's 9-0, and I've been in that position before, like I said, and I understand his cockiness about him, but this is a total different ball game, and I cannot wait to show him.
He's been bouncing around weight classes. Like, he fought at 85 in his last fight. I think he fought at welterweight before that. You've always been a welterweight for the most part, at least in the UFC. Do you feel like that's an advantage for you, having competed in one weight class a little bit more?
I feel so, and I've fought championship rounds before. You know what I mean? This has been my third main event in UFC, I think. Fourth main event in UFC. So I've fought championship rounds before. I've trained for championship rounds before, and I don't think he's been out of the first or second round. You know what I mean? So I've been here before. I'm young. I'm 29 years old, but I feel like I'm a veteran in the game, and I've been through every scenario there is to be through in a fight. You know what I mean? I've been down on the scorecards and have to come back to win. I've been dropped in a fight before and came back and win. You know what I mean? I always find a way to win, and that's what I'm going in with confidence, knowing that I can win under any circumstance. You know what I mean? And let's see how he does when the fight's not going his way. You know what I mean? Let's see how he does when he's getting taken down, when he's on his back foot. You know what I mean? Because he's a very good front foot fighter. You know what I mean? On the front foot, he's very good, but let's see how he deals with it when it's not going his way.
Anything different for this camp, or is it same training partners, same group? And I imagine things have opened up a little bit in terms of your training camp?
Yeah. Not really. I got the same coaches. Probably a few training partners. Different. Lockdown again. Like, this year has been so weird, like, for me, right? Because I thought I was meant to fight Woodley in March. The world went to lockdown. The fight pulled like on a week's notice, and then now I got shit. Then we open back up, I think September, we open back up. And then there was no lockdown. And then I got a fight, then boom, another lockdown again. So now we're in another lockdown now in the UK, you know. But I feel now we kind of understand it now, so now we can still train. Obviously, it's smaller groups. Now it's more like, like boxers do it. It's like, all this camp is specifically about me, right? All the training partners is for me. All the coaches are all for me. So I feel it's a better camp, and I cannot wait to show that in a fight. How's
the weight cut going? Because I know you haven't fought in a while. I know it's a little bit tougher when you're not preparing for a fight.
It's all right. It's coming down. It's good. Like I said, I haven't been sitting on the couch for the last year or so. I've been like I said, I don't know, the Woodley camp. I finished that camp.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, you did have the camp for Woodley. That's true. Yeah.
I finished it like the Sunday before the fight. The camp was finished. Then I've been training anyway. So my weight's good. My skill, I've improved leaps and bounds this year. You know what I mean? And so I'm good.
Awesome. How do you see the fight playing out on the 19th? You feel like you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you envision the fight playing out?
Many ways. I see him coming out fast, slowing down, getting stopped. I see me coming out fast, stopping him early. I always envision me winning. I never see me losing in any fights. You know what I mean? Obviously, you have to be realistic in your head and play different scenarios in your head. But I just can't see what he does to beat me. I've fought guys like that before. You know what I mean? And so let's see.
I know Dana White, you mentioned in that interview that, potentially you're going to get the title shot next. It looks like that's the case. That's sort of what they said here. What percentage do you give that of that actually happening? Because you never know what the politics in this. But again, there's a lot of sort of, stuff going on right now.
Yeah, there's nothing guaranteed in the UFC. There's no, like I said, there's no union or nothing in the UFC. So you can't really base it on word of mouth. And but that's constantly who to give the shot to next, right? Colby just got knocked out for the title. Marcelo just got beat for the title with ease, and so I can't see who to go to next. So I believe it will be me next.
Now, if Burns ends up fighting Usman, would you wait to get the winner of that fight, or would you take something in between? I guess it just depends on when Usman's going to come back, because we don't really know right now.
Yeah, exactly. It all depends on when he's going to come back. It all depends on him, innit? It depends how long I'll have to wait for. I'm not waiting for another year, I'll tell you that.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's been a very long year for everyone, for sure. But you especially, like I said, haven't fought since July last year. What do you think of Adesanya moving up to light heavyweight? Do you think it makes sense? Do you like the fact that he could be a double champ, or do you think it kind of log jams, like Glover and even Jack Hermanson, if he wins his next fight, that kind of doesn't mean much for him, right?
I think it makes sense, because let's say it goes up. He wants the John Jones fight, right? For him, it makes sense anyway, because he wants the John Jones fight. Goes up. Let's say he wins the bout, then that can tempt John Jones to hopefully come back down and to fight him for his bout, basically. So for him in his career, it make 100% sense, definitely.
And then Anderson Silva fought a few weeks ago. Do you think it's time for him to hang it up? I don't know if you caught that fight with Uriah Hall. He actually looked pretty good for 45 years old and up until the finish.
Yeah, I'd like to see him walk away. He's one of the guys that got me into MMA, and I remember watching him as a kid, and to see what he used to be to what's happening now is, I don't like seeing it, So for that sake, I want to walk away.
Leon, appreciate the time, man. I know you're doing the media rounds. Really appreciate it. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any other shout outs or thank yous, the floor is yours, man.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to say thank you as well for the interview. You always give a good interview. And to find me, it's Leon_Edwards MMA on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram. And that's it, really.